forces of change. And this is actually a model proposed by Kurt. So we'll have a quick look at this. It's called forces of change. It could be a project, it could be any change initiative. If you're working on a product, application, anything, whatever it could be. It could be anything, the big program to come up with a disruption to a bank. It could be a small project to create an e-commerce website. It could be a change initiative to change the structure of reporting in your own organization, the job structure, roles, or it could be a product to actually travel or communicate from across your teams. It could be internal, external, anything. It could be a small mobile application, a game. It could be anything. It could be anything that you're working on right now. Small, big, doesn't matter. Type doesn't matter. Maintenance, it could be a development work, doesn't matter. So if you're trying to bring that onto the context of the landscape of your customers, the users, there are some which actually oppose the change, and there are some which actually kind of support the change. Some as in, it could be a positive force, but negative force. So force one could actually be, this is basically what we call as, again, as I said, this is a model based on one of the business change thing. It's called a force field analysis. And you talk about all the positive forces. You then identify what are the things that are supporting you, that are supporting the project. Your own sponsor, your team, they're supporting you. Your quality management, even though they don't appear like they're supporting the testers, they are supporting you. So your testing team, the quality assurance team, definitely are they're supporting, and they're being positive for the change. All the stakeholders, the regulatory bodies, again, they may seem that all these things are like burden, extra burden, let's not worry about it, too much documentation. You know what? They're actually supporting the change. It's good to have that. So the regulators are also on your side. But there are some which could actually kind of oppose the change, which could be negating your change. For example, all these people, all the competitors, for instance, all those people who are averse to change, all the old school traditional type of customers who do not want change could be one of them, and perhaps it could be the technology itself that could be acting against it, the existing infrastructure, the architecture, the infrastructure that you have, which is heavily on-premise solution. And if you want to actually come up with a cloud transformation project, obviously it's going to be negating that, the existing technology infrastructure. We have got 3 big rooms with huge blade servers already installed, and you've got a lot of ACs, 10, 15 people looking at the servers constantly. And imagine, this is the actual case where in one of my clients based in Cambridge, I had to actually work on a project where this whole IT team, it's called IT support team, where they had got about 15 team members working on this, just running this servers, these huge blade servers. And they've put so much cost into that to buy this server and add another server, One fine day, what we all decided in terms of business, they decided that let's go cloud. Let's not have any on-premise hosting. Let's not host about all the solutions that we have internally in-house. And that would actually save them a significant £5 million. You know why? Because they've got backup centers, they've got data recovery centers somewhere else, where they've got to have a backup of this copy for the load balancing, blah, blah, blah. So they've got similar setup in 2 different locations, not just in Cambridge, one in China, one in India, just to make sure that they have got the entire thing load balanced and in safe place, so that they can recover the data of about 1 million customers of themselves. We're talking about £5 million per year cost just to maintain and manage the setup. And you know what? Suddenly they got up one fine morning, they said, let's go cloud. It's a massive change completely in terms of how they approach things from the IT perspective. And so they've actually we went for the DevOps kind of a thing later, not just Agile, but not just cloud transformation, but DevOps implementation on the top of it. We'll talk about all of these in the journey that we have taken and the challenges and how we overcame those challenges in the next few sessions as we go. So it's all about identifying those forces which are negating, and then coming up with some kind of, again, this is just a tool. It's called force field analysis, as I mentioned, but it would really help to identify which of them are positive, what's the net, and how you can try and come up with a model, kind of a quantitative model to understand the changes and how you can overcome those, whether you still want to go ahead with the project or not. So we still went ahead with the project. I'll show you one of the force field analysis that I did for this cloud transformation project for the customer based in Cambridge. I'll show you that in the next few sessions. We'll go through them in detail in terms of how I identified the factors, how I went about analyzing each of the impacts, and then blah, blah, blah. All of that will be, it's just a simple representation what this one here is. So that's in a nutshell, what you need to understand in terms of the sources and forces of change.